What's up, everyone? The Roadburn Walker today is going to do a walk through Tampa International Airport. We're starting our walk on the top roof level of the short-term parking facility, which might seem like a strange place to start a tour, but it's actually an excellent place to get some panoramic views of Tampa and the surrounding area. Okay, right in front of me, we saw the air traffic control tower, the Marriott Hotel that's on site, on premises here in the airport. We're looking over now at Concourse or Airside C, the primary tenant being Southwest Airlines. But further off in the distance, you see some pretty cool sights, and it's not the best day. It's a bit overcast, but in the distance you can see Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Further off in the distance, you can see just 6 to 8 miles away, downtown Tampa. Up ahead, Airside E, home of airlines like United, JetBlue, Spirit. Also the Monorail that connects the terminal with the economy parking garage and the car rental center. You can see some of the buildings of the West Shore Business District, which is just adjacent or just south of the airport. On the opposite end of this parking garage roof, we can see Airside F, whose primary tenant is American Airlines. And in the background, you see Tampa Bay, the body of water that separates Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa from Pinellas County and the cities of St. Petersburg and Clearwater. So quite the view that you can get here from the roof of the parking garage, both to the east to see downtown and Raymond James, and to the west and see Tampa Bay itself. So it's a good spot if you want to take some tourist pictures or just see some planes if you're into plane spotting on the runway. Watch some takeoffs from one of the 3 runways that surround this parking garage. And you can do all this for free if you can do it in less than an hour, as the first hour is free in both the short-term and long-term parking garages at Tampa International Airport. Right now we're looking at Airside E, home to Delta Airlines, Frontier, and Air Canada. Now we have an American Airlines flight about to take off. We're about to enter level 3, or the main terminal, where you can access all the concourses from each of the airlines at Tampa. TPA, or Tampa International Airport. It's a pretty kick-ass airport. It's been winning awards for the last, I'd say, 15 years. Many organizations do annual rankings on different airports in both the US and the world, and it seems like perennially you're going to find Tampa usually almost always in the top 5, usually in the top 2. It seems for years I've always been seeing it as the number 2 airport. Recently it was ranked as by J.D. Powers as the number 1 large airport in the US. In USA Today's ranking, it was ranked number 2 behind Indianapolis. Generally the number 1 airport might be something that has a recent renovation, but Tampa seems to keep getting number 2 or sometimes number 1 despite being on its own, doing the same thing it always does for the last 10 or 15 years. So I can say from personal experience, I travel a lot for work and have lived here in Tampa for 15 years of at that time. And yeah, it's a pretty kick-ass airport. It's got this kind of cool vibe. Normally airport experience is going to be stressful, hectic, crowded. Whereas Tampa's got this kind of chill, laid-back vibe. It's got good Wi-Fi. It's never too cold, never too hot when you're inside the building. Security lines are very manageable, usually about literally 2 minutes. If you miss your flight here, it's probably your fault, because it's not like you got caught on a 30-minute security line. The longest line I've experienced out of my, 100+ trips from here is probably about 7 minutes. And there's literally announcements apologizing for the long line, which would have been a short line at most airports, so quite impressive. Tampa's got various gift shops that sell merchandise for tourists, including team memorabilia for the Rays, the Lightning, the Buccaneers. So we walk through the main terminal. We'll share some stats. Tampa Airport has about 200,000 flights per year. That's true in whether in 2019 or 2022 numbers. Both of those years, approximately 22 million passengers per year departed from here. There are 95 destinations. 75 of those are U.S. domestic, 20 international. Got a cool looking flamingo here in the center of the terminal. Airport's approximately 8 miles from downtown Tampa. It's a big spoke for many carriers. Not a major hub for any carrier, but it is considered a hub for low-cost carrier Silver Airways. There are about 6 eateries here on the main terminal, as well as several others on each of the 4 concourses. This one's a Starbucks that can be found both here on the main terminal and at each of the concourses. This building has a honeycomb or hexagonal design. Basically has 6 spokes that go out to different concourses or airsides. Although only 4 of those are currently active. So those are concourses A, C, E, and F. What's the equivalent of Concourse B in front of us is no longer active. It was once upon a time the Eastern Airlines Concourse, but it was closed down in 1991, and all the remaining airlines that used this concourse were moved to other concourses. And more recently, it was set up as the car rental center. So now, if we continue this way, there's a monorail that will take you to both economy or parking as well as the car rental center.
This train is bound for the rental car center station. Smoking is not permitted within the train system. Remember to hold handrails firmly at all times.
Where are you guys going? Yep. Where are you going? We're meeting. We're going to a wedding at the beach. My granddaughter was getting married.
I heard we were supposed to have 22-mile-an-hour winds on that day. So we're trying to pray that away.
Please remember to hold handrails firmly hold handrails firmly at all times.
And I still think it'd be better.
That's his nickname now, right?
I sure think because he was really bad addicted to drugs for a while. Like 6 years.
We are approaching the economy parking station. The doors will be opening.
I didn't think I'd ever be able to talk to him. I picked him up and take him to lunch and dinner. Yeah. Yeah. How old is he?
7.5.
Okay, don't forget that.
Economy parking station.
So I'm 75 and a half. Yeah.
The doors are closing. We are about to depart. For your safety, please stand clear of the doors and hold handrails firmly at all times. Next stop is the rental car and public bus station. This will be the final stop. Smoking is not permitted within the train system.
My wife used to be the administrator of the Christian school.
We are
Tampa's rental car center has pretty much all the standard rental car companies, so plenty to choose from. There is something quite unique about Tampa Airport's rental car facility. I don't know if it's the only one in the country, but I know it's the first in the country that offered to check you in and check your bag at the rental car facility. In other words, you don't have to lug your bags all the way to the terminal. Not all carriers are participating, but the carriers that are participating in this program are Delta, JetBlue, Southwest, Spirit, and United. This was started in 2018, the first of its kind. To my knowledge, I don't know of any other airports that have implemented this since, but I would welcome you to inform me in the comments if other airports are offering this service. This is a view of the monorail from the outside. The one coming into view now is departing the economy parking garage, having come from the terminal, and is headed to its third and final destination, the car rental center. A place where you can park with no time limit at Tampa Airport is the cell phone parking lot used by people who are coming to pick up friends and relatives. They got a board here with all the flight times so you can see and get updates on any delays. Pretty good facility. It's only about 2 to 3 minute drive from the terminal, so once you get a ping from your loved one, you can quickly go and pick them up at the terminal. It's even got a facility with bathrooms and vending machines over here, so they make it quite comfortable for the people who will be coming to pick up people from the airport. Concourse A is served by multiple U.S. airlines, including JetBlue, Silver, Spirit, and United. There are 2 sit-down restaurants in the main terminal. P.F. Chang's right next to Concourse A. And a little bit closer to Concourse C up ahead is the Hard Rock Cafe. Both of these restaurants have indoor and outdoor seating. We're passing what used to be Concourse B, but is now the access to the car rental center. And we approach Concourse or Airside C. The tenants for this airside are Alaska, Avelo, Breeze, Sun Country, and the largest carrier on this airside, Southwest. Each of these concourses or airsides are separate, so you can only access them from the main terminal. In other words, you can't walk from A to C like you might be able to in some airports. Since Tampa is not a hub for any major carrier, there's very few interline connections purchased through here. So that's usually sufficient for passenger needs, where Tampa is usually the origin or the destination for a passenger's itinerary. To our right is the Marriott Hotel. It's in the airport property itself, so you don't have to take a shuttle. You can just walk. They're doing renovation right now, so it's not visually appealing, but it's a very conveniently located airport. Probably useful if you have an early morning flight and don't want to have to use ground transportation to get to your flight on time, and you can just utilize the airport hotel and be on site the morning of your flight. Here in the main terminal, there's also a mini food court. It only has 3 restaurants, which are Cadobo Mexican Grill, Chick-fil-A, and Wendy's. If you eat at the food court, there's plenty of seating. You have the option of actually eating outside here, which is a nice option in Florida if it's not summertime. We already saw airsides A and C. This would be the site of future airside D, which will be constructed. I believe it's going to be an international terminal, if I remember correctly, expected for about 2025, though if any of you have more updated information, I encourage you to share those in the comments. Here we are at Concourse E, which has main tenant being Delta, but also Air Canada and Frontier. All these concourses, you would scan your boarding pass to get through, and in the past they used to be manned by people, and you could occasionally make a mistake and go in the wrong concourse, which they would normally catch, but now it's impossible to end up at the wrong concourse, which is good. Now we're on the ticketing level. A little bit of history. Tampa Bay was actually the birthplace of commercial aviation with the St. Petersburg-Tampa airboat line. This was opened in this business started in 2014, started by aviation pioneer Tony Janis, flew its original flight. And the background of that is back then it used to take 2 hours to travel from Tampa to St. Pete by boat, or 4 hours by car, because you'd have to go north all the way around the bay. However, in 1914, this new flying boat covered the 23-mile distance in about 23 minutes, flying just about 5 feet above the water the entire time. In 1928, Drew Field Airport was opened in this current location. And that continued until it basically outgrew the demand. And in 1971, a new airport, or new terminal, was opened on this very site. And it's basically the Tampa airport that we know today. That was the first airport to implement the red-blue terminals, separately locating airlines. So this building, you can actually access both and walk, but it has 2 separate entrances depending on the airline you're flying. You could go to the red side or the blue side. Half the airlines are on each side. I think JetBlue probably requires that they're on the blue side. And in 1973, they opened an on-site hotel, which is the Marriott Hotel on the 3rd level. All right, we've heard some facts. I think it's time for 3 trivia questions. Let's see if you can answer them. Honors code applies, so let me know in the comments if you get all 3. Which airline has the most flights from Tampa International Airport? Is it American Airlines, Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, or United Airlines? The correct answer is C, Southwest Airlines, with 28%. As I mentioned, this isn't a hub for any major carrier, so there's a pretty equal share of the large carriers here, so nobody has greater than, say, 50%, but Southwest does have a significantly larger share of the departures than the other major carriers. Question number 2. Which destination has the most flights from Tampa? Is it A, Atlanta, B, Chicago O'Hare, C, Dallas Fort Worth, or D, New York LaGuardia? Correct answer is A, Atlanta. Now, if you look at New York, combining both JFK and LaGuardia, it still trails Atlanta. If you also combine in Newark, then it would exceed Atlanta. But for one airport, Atlanta is the correct answer. And final question. What destination is the longest flight from Tampa? A, Frankfurt, B, London, C, Tokyo, or D, Zurich? Correct answer is D, Zurich. A little bit of a trick question. Tokyo would be longer, but there are no flights to Asia at Tampa Airport. There are flights to the Caribbean, to Europe, and Zurich is just a little bit further than Frankfurt, which is the 2nd longest flight. And since I'll be flying American today, I'll be using Concourse F, or Airside F. Airlines in Concourse F are American, WestJet, Havana Air, Virgin Atlantic, Edelweiss. And we get on the automated people mover that takes us from the main terminal to Airside F.
To depart, please stand clear of the doors and hold handrails firmly at all times.
It's a quick 1-minute ride. These come about every 2 minutes. And from here, we'll go through security, probably a pretty quick line, and I'll meet you on the other side. All right, we're now inside Airside F, near the Gasparilla Bar. It's about a little after 6 in the morning, so it's pretty quiet. Come here later, especially on the weekend, you'll have a pretty packed bar watching the games. Airside F has 15 gates, numbered from 76 to 90. Probably more than half of those are dedicated to American Airlines, the main carrier on Concourse F. We'll just take a walk from one end to the other. It's got a couple of eateries like this Illy Cafe, which has breakfast items, quite popular at this time. Technology store that's not yet open at this time. And right here in the middle of Airside F is one of the few sit-down restaurants in the airport, the Cafe by Miss A and Place. I've eaten here once, it's quite good. There's not a lot of business class lounges in Tampa Airport. There's two, one of which is the American Airlines Admiral Club on Airside F. There's also a Delta Sky Club on Concourse E. Here's the food court. Again, it's only 6 something in the morning, so it's kind of dead here, but Liquid provisions, if we were here at any other time later in the day, would be jam-packed with people watching games. There's also Square One, where you can get some hamburgers. Yogurtology, where you can make your own yogurt. Bella Veloci, where you can get some pizza, not yet open, at 6 a.m. And Buddy Brew Coffee, which is open at 6 a.m. Starbucks not even open yet. People are lined up though. Guess it's about to get open. There's a Starbucks that we saw one on the main terminal, but there's also one on, I believe, all 4 of the airsides here at Tampa. Another gift shop, Stella Bay. And those of you familiar with Tampa know that the city, particularly Ybor City, is known for cigar making. So we have a cigar brewing tap room. Another good location to grab a beer and watch a game if we're later in the day.
If you have a bag of wheels, place the bag of wheels first and on the narrow side, please. Once again, it's a 2-bag limit per person. And more than 2, please consolidate before you do pass through the door.
All right, well, there you have it. So, taking a walk through Tampa International Airport. As I said earlier, I've been to a lot of airports. I actually counted 141 airports, and I might say Tampa, the one I've been to the most, is probably my favorite. Pretty chill vibe. Security line just now was about 3 minutes, despite it being a very busy time of the day for flights. So I always kind of come out of here feeling in a kind of tranquil, nice mood. So it's kind of an unusual thumbs up that most airports won't get from travelers. So hopefully you find this information useful and you enjoy these walks. Please like the video and please subscribe. This is the Urban Walker checking out. See you next time.